If you're watching this video and you're hoping that this is going to be a set of rules, advice, and tips on how to quit your job, I hate to disappoint you, but this is not that video. But here's the reality check. Your growth trajectory is your growth trajectory. I know that's a hard thing to swallow. Everything happens by intention. The pro is you are your own boss, and the con is you are your own boss. Disclaimer, this video is also not meant to stop you from pursuing your dreams or actually doing the whole thing of quitting your 9 to 5 to become a full-time content creator, freelancer, or business owner. This is just my experience and what I've experienced over the last year or so of quitting corporate and the literal implications of it as I've been trying to pursue being a business owner and more so a full-time content creator. So let's just get into it. I am 27 years old now, but I have been on YouTube since I was 19. I have been doing content creation more so seriously for about 5 years, and I have also worked in corporate environments for a very long time. I had the opportunity to start working in corporate when I was around 21 years old. I had the chance to start working for a media publication. This led to me working in corporate for over 3 years, closer to 4 years. Gave me a significant amount of experience, loved it, kind of. There's a lot of things I can't say on here because I would like to protect the privacy of the people at the company and also myself for obvious reasons. Corporate wasn't everything that I hoped it would be, quite frankly. But the reality is walking away from it was really hard. And not just because, I'm losing a title or things like that, but like the real implications that I would like to talk about here. I'm going to talk about a couple of different areas that I think get overlooked when people are looking at making the jump from corporate girly, corporate person, 9 to 5 individual working person to jumping fully into content creation, freelancing, business owner. There's some stuff that we really do need to talk about around this. And I'm just going to try to make this as real and unfiltered as possible because I believe I'm in a good place to talk about this. And I also just want to not make this feel like I'm talking at you. Just imagine that you've pulled up a seat. We're here in my office. We're just having a little chatty chat in my comfy seats. The first thing that I want to talk about is the financial implications. I will say this. I was making a pretty good chunk of money in corporate. I will say that. I'm very, very lucky to be able to say I was making a very, very sustainable income in corporate. It was amazing. I had good savings. I had a 401k, all the cool things that come with being in corporate, right? So when I made the decision to leave corporate, it was for a lot of reasons. Again, probably won't discuss all of that here, but when I had the chance to leave corporate, I also was in a season where I had the chance to invest more in my business. And I was making actually a majority of my monthly income from my actual business as a freelancer doing photography, graphic design, and social media management. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. Things are not ideal in corporate. I can make the jump. Now, as fate would have it, even though I was incredibly well prepared, had great business strategy, had basically everything lined up, good savings, good planning for Q1 of this year and everything like that. Even when I made the jump, obviously a lot of changes have happened here in 2025, economy, everything like that. A lot of legislation has changed here in the States. And that all ended up impacting my freelance work severely. Some of my clients got supply chains interrupted, things like that. And I'm not going to get into the political side of it because that's not what we're here for. But it really did affect a lot of things. And so that ended up affecting then my income as a freelancer and as a business owner. A lot of people had to cut spending budgets. A lot of people had to readjust their contracts. And that meant that over the course of this year, realistically speaking, my income has actually been tanking since January. Now, that's not to scare you into, oh, don't take the plunge. But here's the reality check. You can make your corporate or 9 to 5 income and then stack your business, freelance, content creation money on top of it. That's not a bad thing. That's extra money. Does that mean, though, obviously, that you have to invest more time and energy to split your energy between those two things? Absolutely. But the thing is, I would rather be realistically, we're really talking about it in all transparency, I'd rather be where I was at the end of last year, where I had my corporate income with my freelance income stacked on top of it, where I was headed towards my first year making 6 figures ever, rather than where I am right now. And I'm not going to say all of the financial figures of where I am right now because it is low-key embarrassing, and I also don't want to just like share that online. But I would rather be in that spot where I was having to pull extra hours and pull extra energy to put towards everything than I would want to be where I am right now. Now, I'm still extremely grateful to be where I am, and I still am grateful that I've had this year to learn about all of the different caveats that come with being a business owner and a freelancer and having to put so much more energy towards like intentionally managing that differently. I'm very grateful for that experience, but I will say you do have to think about those implications before you make the jump because it's not always going to go the way you planned. And I think we all know that. From creator to creator, from business owner to business owner, from freelancer to freelancer, it's okay if your plan doesn't pan out the way you wanted it to initially. I know that's a hard thing to swallow, and that's not to say that your plan will never pan out, but sometimes your timeline is going to look different from everyone else's, and that's okay. The second thing I want to talk about is actually healthcare and benefits. I think this is a big one that nobody talks about, at least that I've seen when I see people talking about leaving their 9 to 5 or leaving their corporate job. I very seldom see anybody talk about this. Healthcare is expensive. It is expensive even under a corporation, under a 9 to 5, under a group plan. It can be expensive, but it is even more expensive when you are paying for it completely by yourself. I right now have a great finance advisor. Shout out to Ben. Ben, if you ever see this, thank you for everything you do for me. Ben has been incredibly helpful in sorting all of those things out, like my life insurance policy, my disability policy for like if I get injured, things like that. All of that's great and managed fine now. But let me just tell you that when I was working through getting all of that set up for the very first time by myself, it was a freaking nightmare. Because one, pricing. They are going to be basing, if you're doing your healthcare plan for the first time by yourself, they're going to be basing that off of what you used to make, not what you're projected to make. And so you may not qualify for a lower price plan, and I will say I did not. So basing that off of like last year's income versus right now's income, I am paying far too much for healthcare. But like that really does go away. Like if you're going from a really nice like premium PPO group plan to having to pay for your own plan, it is really, really bad. Group healthcare is really nice. Okay. I'm just going to say it. Group healthcare is really nice and it's super, super, super underrated. The other thing is the 401k, like retirement benefits setup system or like, what is it? A pension? I think I have a pension at my current job now. It's one of the last places in this area that does a pension. But at any rate, having those kinds of things set up for you is great. Now, I do have my old 401k rolled over to my finance advisor now, and that's managed by him and his finance firm, and that's great. But like that is something that does go away when you do leave that. You have to intentionally set up those parameters for yourself. Otherwise, literally nothing's going to happen. I would definitely say have like your regular savings, have your secret savings, and then have your sacred savings. Probably should do a video talking about that at some point. I'm not a finance bro, okay? I just learned all this stuff over the course of my experience, but I would say savings, secret savings, sacred savings. Do all of that in that order because you do have to, this kind of loops back to the financial portion of this video, but you do have to have yourself set up that way because no one's going to do it for you when you are your own boss. If you are your own boss, if you're a content creator, freelancer, business owner, you are in charge of all of those decisions at this point. You don't have an HR manager telling you, oh, hey, do you want to go up to 6% for this month to put away towards your 401k? You don't have anybody telling you to do any of that. And also with that fluctuation of income, those levels of savings are going to be more important than ever for you to sustain yourself and your business and whatever you're pursuing. The last thing I think I want to talk about today is going to be motivation and being a self-starter. The probably most important thing you need to ask yourself before you jump off the ship of corporate or full-time work or your 9 to 5 is going to be, can I be my own boss? And I don't mean just as in, I'm excited to be the one who's telling myself what to do, but like, can you keep yourself on track? Can you be the one building your schedule? Can you be the one managing all of the decisions that have to happen in place for you to be sustainable and productive and growing your revenue? Can you make all of those decisions? If the answer is no, or you're uncertain, that is absolutely okay. Anyone can learn to do it, but are you willing to learn? Are you willing to learn how to build your plans in the boards of like Notion or Monday boards to be able to see what you need to get done? Are you willing to organize your own Google or Microsoft calendars to keep your schedule straight? And are you willing to have all of those hard conversations to manage your finances, your business, your time, your resources, all of that? Are you willing to be the one to do that? Because there are so many bigger things than just the thing that you're focused on doing. For example, for myself, I was like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Like, probably manage someone's social media full time, jump into the photography thing more, like, that I've been building on for like 7 years, yada, yada. And that's all great and stuff. But when you zoom out, there's a lot more than just that. You have to get leads. You've got to send out invoices. You are the self-employed baddie at that point in all its glory, which is good and bad. The pro is you are your own boss, and the con is you are your own boss. And I think that's where we're going to land the plane. It really does come down to, can you live with the pro and con of being your own boss? Because I will tell you, it is not for the weak. And given that it has been over a year now since I left corporate, these are my reflections. I don't miss corporate in terms of how the work environment really burned me out, but I also miss some of the elements of that stability. Because the thing is, your business income can fluctuate a lot more, especially if you're a freelancer and you don't have consistent leads and you're still building the thing. I would say if you are going to jump ship for the first time, make sure you've got a good plan in place. I'm incredibly lucky to be where I am, where I had a lot of planning in place and got to build on this thing for a long time before I actually jumped. But if I could have it my way, I would have probably had more time before I jumped ship. I would say everyone's timeline looks different. Some people make it in a year. Some people make it in 3 months. Some people make it in 10 years. Some people take 5 years to build the thing before they jump. And that's okay. Everyone's timeline is going to look different. If you're a content creator, don't put the pressure on yourself to go viral and somehow line up like 25 different brand deals with big name brands all within 6 months. That might not happen. In fact, it actually might not happen within that time frame. It could happen in a shorter amount of time or a longer amount of time. Everyone's story looks different and everyone's journey is going to look different. If you're a freelancer, put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Go to the expos, go to the business networking meetings, go to the places where you can throw people your business cards and QR codes. Do it. It's scary AF, but it is so freaking worth it. But it is going to take time for you to have consistent leads. Don't be afraid to work with other people. Don't be afraid to ask other people if you can shadow them before you even jump to doing that thing full time. It's okay to keep learning from others. And I find so much joy in that, honestly. And then lastly, for my business owner baddies, I see you. It's not fun. We're all floundering out here. We're all building the thing that we want to build long term because we do love it and we are doing it for the heck of it. But don't put that pressure on yourself to suddenly be like, oh my gosh, I made 6 figures this year just from my own business. Because the thing is, everyone's goals are going to look different. Everyone's going to hit their goals at different times differently, and that's okay. Your growth trajectory is your growth trajectory. So don't put all that pressure on yourself to just make it randomly one day. Because nothing happens by accident. Everything happens by intention that stands for a long time. So don't be too hard on yourself. No matter which bucket of person you find yourself in today, I hope this video helped you out a little bit. Just don't get too scared. This is just your little reality check from your internet sister. You can still go do the dang thing. I know you can. You clicked on this video. I know you have it in you to go and make something amazing happen. But don't forget, anything that withstands time takes a lot of planning. Don't get planning paralysis, but don't forget to plan purposefully. And you will be able to achieve great things. And I think that 2026 is going to be a great time for all of us to experience a lot of growth and just keep evolving as people in our areas of expertise. You've got this. Let me know if this was helpful to you. Comment down below some like goals that you have for Q1 in 2026, and we'll hang out again here on this channel. My video style is very messy, so I'm not going to be doing this business freelance chats all the time, but I am more than happy to have you stick around and hang out for the heck of it. So until then, keep shining bright, lovelies, and I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon. I believe in you. Go have a great day. Bye.